Hi, this is Travis with Waconda Boats here in Republican City, Nebraska. We're also in Glen Elder, Kansas. Today we wanted to try and give you a video explaining the IPS Hole, Lund's Hole, their system. One of the most common questions we get are, people get confused as to what the different types of IPS holes are. They're curious as to what makes Lund's ride so well. And it's a great question. It's just a hard question to answer, through an email or over the phone. It's better to have a visual. So we thought we'd just try and do a video because this will be a lot easier to explain kind of how it works. Basically, we'll start with the actual hull design itself. Again, IPS stands for Integrated Power Strake. Okay, so if we look down here, the power strake on Lund's hull design is right here on the keel. Okay, the keel is the most important part of any boat hull because that's actually what you're riding on when you're on plane. Okay, so if you look at Lund's IPS, basically what it is, it's a flat pad. Okay, it's 12 inches wide and it runs all the way to the bow of the boat. It runs the full running surface of the boat. So a conventional hull design is going to have a V'd-in keel. You'll see most of them have a V, whereas this is Lund's technology. They have a flat pad. So this gives multiple advantages. I guess one of the bigger advantages is obviously with that flat pad, when you're on plane, you're riding on a flat surface. Okay, so that does a lot of things for you. That makes it a much more stable ride. Okay, the ride is very stable. And the other thing is that you're lifted up above the water. Okay, so it's riding higher. A lot of guys will ask us, it looks like when you see a Lund going across the lake, it just looks like they're setting up higher. The reason it looks like they're setting up higher is because it is riding higher. And most of that is due to this power strake design. Okay, so again, it's more stable and it sets you up higher. One of the other big advantages though that this has, it's a much more efficient keel design, and the reason for that is this makes your engine more efficient. If you can visualize the water coming through here to your engine's prop, this greatly reduces the cavitation. So your prop is actually getting much more straight water, less air, so you have less cavitation. This is what makes it a lot more efficient. It takes less horsepower to push this hull, because your engine's prop is getting less water, or less air, more water. So it reduces that cavitation. So this kind of explains the IPS portion of it. Now there's another important part of their hull. Let's move out here to the outside. Here near the footprint here is the width to the waterline. This is what we call the chine, and Lund uses what they call a reverse chine. Okay, so on a conventional hull, you'll usually see the chine is a level, it's a vertical line going straight across. I've even seen some hulls where they actually angled up. The Lund has a reverse chine hull, so this actually angles slightly down horizontally. And that also gives you several advantages. The biggest advantage with the reverse chine, this is actually cupping the water for you, which does two things. Since it's already got a grip on the water, even when you're stationary, this allows the boat to be much more stable on the water. When you're sitting still, if you're anchored down, you're vertical jigging, you're going to notice there's much less teetering with the Lund hull, and that has everything to do with this reverse chine. It's cupping the water for you. Okay. One of the other biggest advantages with it though is actually the planing. This is what's aiding in the planing. This again, it's cupping the water. It's already got a good grip on the water before you even throttle up. So as soon as you throttle up, this is already gripping the water for you. This is what forces the nose down when you're on plane. This is the entire reason why Lund's plane out so fast. This literally it reduces your planing time in half. So if you visualize on the water, when you see a Lund plane out, it's basically going like this. On a conventional hull, when they have a straight chine, you see those noses come way up and then down. Lunds don't do that, and again, it's because of their reverse chine effect there. So this covers, we can come up, this covers the IPS portion of the hull. This is something that you're going to get with no matter which model you choose. You're going to get the IPS hull, so it doesn't matter if you're looking at an impact, a tie, a Pro V, a crossover. You're getting this technology. This is what's giving you 98% of Lund's performance. Okay. The only difference is when we go to the IPS2 hull, it's exactly the same thing. The only difference is they add a couple strakes to the side of the bow. We're going to come over here and look at this 2075 tie, because it'll be a little bit easier to show you visually on the camera because it's a deeper hull. The only difference between what we just talked about in the IPS2 hull are these two strakes here. So they add two strakes on each side. Now the IPS2 hull, for the most part, that's only going to be in a Pro V or a tie. Okay, so you see these two strakes. It gives, you know, two advantages. You look at this outside strake. This runs almost all the way to the back of the transom, so it's near the aft. So it does aid somewhat in the planing, although it's minimal. In my opinion, the biggest reason to have these here, or the biggest advantage I would say, is in tracking. Okay, the way the boat tracks, you know, at lower speeds. So let's say you're trolling, or even if you're loading the boat on a trailer, having these strakes, it works kind of like rails on a rail car. Okay, it allows the boat to track. It's easier for you to keep your course, especially on a crosswind. So, you know, that's the big advantage there, is at lower speeds, you're less affected by crosswinds and things like that. It allows you to keep a better course, be it trolling or even loading on the trailer. Okay, so that's the only difference between the IPS hull versus the IPS 2 hull. So that pretty much covers, you know, hopefully this helps guys understand how it works, what the advantages are. One other point that I wanted to make though, I don't want guys to stress. Let's say a guy, you know, he can't afford a Pro V or a Tyee, but he doesn't want to give up Lund's performance. You don't have to worry about that. It doesn't matter what model you're looking at now, a late model Lund, it's going to have the IPS hull, which is giving you 98% of their technology. So the IPS hull, it's absolutely nice, but it's absolutely not necessary. So I don't want guys to stress, you know, if they can't afford one of their higher end models, it doesn't matter. You're still going to get the Lund ride. So I hope this helps. I hope it clears up some things for people. If we left anything out, you can send us an email and ask questions. Or if there's other videos you want to see, like if there's other questions, things you want to cover, just email us and let us know. We'll link our website and everything in the description box for you. This is Travis with Waconda Boats. Thank you very much.